Meeting to order. Roll call, Susan.
Chair Peterson,
Here.
Vice Chair Ouellette,
Here.
Board Member Seelmov,
Here.
Board Member Grosso,
Here.
Board Member Palmieri,
Here.
Board Member Scherer,
Here.
and Board Member Vogel.
Here.
Okay, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we approve the agenda, we have a little bit of we need to do an oath of office, and no, the attorney is going to do that for us. No, back up, Richard.
So would Board Members Seelmov and Scherer please stand up and raise your right hand. Do you have a copy of the oaths in front of you? I only have those handy, so. You'll repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, Clay Scherer,
am qualified under the Constitution, laws of Florida,
am qualified under the Constitution, laws of Florida,
and the Code of Ordinances for the City of Stuart, Florida,
and the Code of Ordinances for the City of Stuart,
to serve as a member of the local planning agency,
to serve as a member of the local planning agency,
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of an advisory board member
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of an advisory board member
on which I am about to enter, so help me God.
on which I am about to enter, so help me God.
All right, thank you very much. You can be seated, and just remember to be able to sign the oath in front of the clerk before you leave tonight. Thanks.
We do need a motion to approve the agenda, but before we do that, we're rotating the items a little bit. The staff update, item number 4, we're being asked to see first, and then we'll do 2 and 3 after 4. So does somebody have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor?
No,
Oh, wait.
I understood him saying he had a motion to approve the minutes.
Oh, agenda.
Oh, sorry.
So we want to approve the
Make a motion to
agenda,
approve the agenda.
just moving forward before 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Second.
Second, thank you.
And then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And now we need a motion to approve the minutes.
I motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then do we have any comments from the public on non-agenda items?
I don't have, Chair.
Okay. Any comments by board members?
No.
Okay. And then on to action items, and our first one is going to be Mary.
Yes. Hi.
Item staff update.
Good afternoon. I'm Mary Kendall. I'm the city clerk. I've met you, but I haven't met all of you. Am I not on microphone? I'm sorry. I get after people about that. And I have Lee Baggett here with me. He's the city attorney. And we wanted to present to you some information, general information on public records, the Sunshine Law, and what the responsibilities of a board member are. So before we begin, we kindly ask that you hold any questions until the end of the presentation. Many of the topics will likely be addressed as we move through the material, and we will be happy to take any questions once the presentation is complete. So let's get started. Okay. Today we're going to cover what a public records request is and who it applies to, board member responsibilities, duty to preserve and not delete records, and we're going to understand board member responsibilities after term expiration or board service ends. So what is a public record? A public record is any record made in connection with the transaction of official city business, regardless of physical form, characteristic, or means of transmission. This includes, but is not limited to, paper, letters, maps, books, tapes, photographs, videos, recordings, voicemails, text messages, emails, and social media posts. It is the content of the record that matters. It is not where it is kept. So in other words, if you have something on a personal device, it doesn't matter that you're receiving city business or a text from somebody about something that's going to come before the board, and it's on your personal text, that's still a city record, regardless of where it's held. So let's see. Public records law applies to both elected and appointed board members, such as yourselves. Any records received or created in connection with board duties, including emails, texts, any written communications, are considered public record. The law is applicable to this board. In the first block here, this basically means that you are legally responsible for the preservation and transfer of those records to the city. And this legal obligation to transfer public records extends to records that exist on personal devices, as we just mentioned, and in personal accounts. All records should be preserved and maintained even after they are transferred to the city. Upon resignation or expiration of your term, you are required to transfer all public records, anything related to city business, to the city within 10 days after leaving the office. And then at that point, your records can be deleted. You can take them and delete them from your files or any personal phone, but only at that time. So the first block there in green is for elected officials and CRA board members, so that doesn't apply to this board, so we'll skip over that one. All boards are to receive training, and that's what we're doing here today, of the public records law and sunshine law. You also would have received an orientation packet, and that included links to different things, but anything you might need printed, because some of the documents are a little larger, just ask and we'll provide it for you. Let's see. The Florida Commission on Ethics Guide to Sunshine Amendment and Code Ethics for Public Officers and Employees. That's a 37-page document that was a link in your email, your orientation email. But again, if you want us to print that, because there's a lot of good information in that. And we're required by law to provide that to every board member. Board bylaws, public meetings calendar, and helpful tools were all in your orientation packet as well. Upon appointment, board members receive a city-assigned email address for public record purposes. If you are issued a city email, which I believe each one of you has, is that correct? Yes. All city or board communication must be conducted using that email. So what they did on purpose, because originally when we started doing this and providing board members an email address, people forget to kind of check that email. It's not something on their mind. So we ended up linking it to your personal email address. So somebody may email you at your city email address, but it's automatically going to roll into your private email just so you have that record. No worries. Anything that comes in through your city email address, or if you forward something to your city email address for safekeeping, that's something we can obtain through public record search. We don't even have to contact you. So any emails that are on that city email address, we wouldn't even contact you if we had a public records request related to that. We would contact you if it involved text messages or any other communications. We usually do go a step further and ask the board member, even though we have all your email addresses, do you happen to have anything on your personal email account? Do you have any text messages? It depends on what the request is for. So let's see. We do recommend that if an email is sent to you on your personal device, that you forward it to your city email. And then also, it's nice to have kind of a standard reply. That's an example within the box there that is notifying the sender that if it is city business, please email me at this email address. And it kind of keeps your personal email address out of it. And then make sure all city-related communications are secure and available upon request. It is rare that we get public records requests for board member documentation and communications, but it does happen. If there's a hot topic on the agenda, there's certain things people want to know, your communications or how you feel about something, those are all public record. So you make sure you hold on to anything city-related. The blocks there, the colored blocks, are just suggestions on how to submit records to us. It gives examples such as, taking snapshots of your text messages and sending them to that email address, or forwarding any personal emails to that email address. The last block at the bottom is basically kind of describing that all of your communications, it is your responsibility as a board member to hold on to that information and provide it at the time that you leave the city. If you're ever not on the board any longer, we ask that you submit that, then you can delete it, and that takes it out of your hands. But while you're a board member, even though you may submit certain information to us, text messages from this date to this date if it was requested, and we have that record, hold on to it anyway, because then if it is requested again, but in a slightly different manner, maybe includes a couple of different dates, we are not responsible to make sure that request is completed. You as the board member are. And we help you along the way, so. Let's see, are there records that are related to city business that are not considered a public record? Yes. Any notes and rough drafts? There's kind of a little fine line there, and I don't know if Lee wants to jump in, but notes, personal notes, we had just had this conversation in the office just recently, but personal notes that are used to jog your memory are not public record. So if you use it for your own benefit and you don't share it with anyone, that is not a public record. The minute you share it or you make it known, you announce it from the dais because you had prepared notes, then those are public record and they must be submitted to the clerk. Okay? So, and then rough drafts. If you're just jotting down things as, notes for you to put in a document, those are your personal notes. But the rough draft itself, the draft itself, once it is completed, is considered public record. So these are just kind of oddities that are probably not going to come up, but we just need to inform you. Okay. If anyone makes a request to you, it's best just to kind of inform them that the city clerk's department is where a public records request should go. However, by law, anyone can make a public records request to any city employee, board member. So you're still responsible to take the request. You can suggest that they go to the clerk, but if they say, no, I want to turn my request into you, just jot it down and then contact us and we'll take care of it. So they do have the right to walk up to somebody who's a city employee and say, I'm going to put in a request through you and not go to the clerk. So let's see, once the request is received, we would always notify you if we have something that comes in for any LPA board member information. So that's our responsibility. We would kind of walk you through it, help you every step of the way. So it's not that scary. We just ask that you search your files, including all electronic devices and accounts, and gather any records related to the request. You send any information or records found to us at the clerk's department. And if you have no records, we just ask that you confirm that you have no records. There needs to be some sort of documentation of you stating that you don't have it, so it doesn't leave it open-ended. But upon resigning or on the expiration of your term, you will check your files, devices, any accounts, and gather up any records and submit them to the city clerk. All public records should be turned over to the city within 10 days of exiting office. Legal consequences can result from failure to turn over the records to the city. And Lee is going to talk about the consequences.
The bad news. And then we have the next slide up there. Yep. So there's certain things that could happen not only to you, but also to the city. So the city could have a judgment entered against it for violating public records laws, even if it was you that violated the law. There could be civil cases filed against the city and yourself, and it could result not necessarily in damages, but in attorney's fees assessed against the city. There is potential of an arrest of a misdemeanor, and also up to a $1,000 fine or both. It could also be what's called a non-criminal infraction, in which you could be made to pay up to $500. I don't want to scare you. I just want to tell you that there is some serious consequences. So you want to, if you have any questions, you can contact Mary or myself. She's the city clerk. I'm the city attorney. I'm the attorney for this board. So if you have any questions regarding what your duties are, or stuff that even comes up before it comes before you, if you have questions, you can reach out to talk to me and ask questions. Hopefully you can hear me right now with the train. But we're here for you. I'd rather you guys, I don't want you to feel like you're bothering us. I'd rather you guys call us or email us. Probably better to call so we can explain it better and ask the question. I'd rather do it beforehand than find out after the fact, okay? That's all I have on that.
Do you want to talk about financial disclosure a little bit, or do you want me to cover it?
You can go ahead and do that, that's fine.
Okay. Financial disclosure, many of you are probably already aware of this, but the Commission on Ethics at the state of Florida requires any board members, elected officials, to complete a Form 1. Form 1 is an annual financial disclosure. It's just ensuring transparency. It's ensuring, that it's increased public confidence, deters any corruption or anything that might be going on. So it's a pretty simple form. There's a lot of instructions. It's all online now, so you just do everything online. We do ask that you go in, I'm sorry, I didn't change the slide there. Form 1F is the form that you do as you're leaving the board, and that kind of like finalizes, closes out, unless you switch to another city board. If you're still active in the system, you don't have to do the F. F is almost like for final, think of that, 1F. It's closing out your financial disclosure with the state. But there is a fine involved in it if you do not complete it. It's required by law. And let's see, what is it? It's due July 1st. I wish I had more of my details here, but yeah, July 1st of every year. And we do ask that you go in and you file. A lot of you have just taken your oath. Some of you just took your oath last month. So we ask that you go in and you do an initial. Your name is in the system, so it would come up, and we can help you with that as well. All right, Florida Sunshine Law. It applies to advisory boards. It covers meetings of 2 or more members discussing any board business. So we ask that you don't do that, and you be careful of also the perception. You may be friends with someone else on the board, and that's great if you're talking about your dog or the weather or your kids. But if you just got to be careful, because perception also from the public may be that they're talking city business or about how they're going to vote, and you wouldn't want to take the chance on that. So meetings must be open to the public with reasonable notice. Minutes or records must be maintained, and it applies to all formats, whether you're in person, telephone, electronic communication. The Sunshine Law, just think of Florida. It's a Florida law. So in the sunshine means it's exposed. It's not happening behind closed doors. So all city business should be in front of the public. So basically the takeaways from this presentation is just that the board is subject to sunshine law and public records law. It is your responsibility to maintain all board business related records except for emails through your city email address. We will take care of that. You will be contacted by the city if a public records request is made for your records, and do your best to limit city related text or communication on personal devices. When separation from the board occurs, submit all public records to the city clerk. And that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions? No, we covered it all?
Oh, can I just, sorry, Mary, I'm just thinking, just to take a couple minutes selfishly about me, if I went off the CRB in December, I didn't do the Form 1F, but now I'm on this board, so do I do another Form 1 now?
It's the same. You're still enrolled in the Commission on Ethics for the city of Stuart. So whether you were on a different board and now you're on this board, it's still the same. We switched you to the right board in the system.
Oh,
so you
that's
would
good.
continue to do Form 1. It's due every year in July.
Oh, okay.
There's an absolute deadline in September where you then would risk fines and things like that for not turning it in. But I believe we sent the link to everyone, did we not, Sue, for Form 1? It was on the orientation. Yeah, it's on the orientation. So
Got it. Thanks.
if you need it again, just let us know. But yes, you're still in the system. Anything else? All righty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chair Peterson, may I have a few minutes just to discuss a few things before you guys get started? Thank you. First thing is, one of you have asked about the ex officio board member, Mark Seacrest, who's identified on the agenda, and he's an 8th board member. And so I didn't have an answer for you at the meeting, but I found the statute, and it's Florida Statute Section 163.3174. And in the statute, it says, notwithstanding any special act to the contrary, all local planning agencies or equivalent agencies that first review rezoning and comprehensive planned amendments in each municipality and county shall include a representative of the school district appointed by the school board as a non-voting member of the local planning agency or equivalent agency to attend those meetings at which the agency considers comprehensive plan amendments and rezonings that would, if approved, increased residential density on the property that is the subject of the application. So the school board has a member that they notify us who that is, and it's Mark Seacrest currently. I've been here 2.5 years, and he has never come to any of the meetings. So we do have quarterly meetings with the school board, the county, and Indiantown with the city commissioners. And we do that on a quarterly basis, and we do address high development issues for all the municipalities, the county. They all go through all their development, and the school board is there. So the point, I guess, of this would be to notify the school board. Let's say we're putting in 1,000 new unit development in the city of Stuart. They probably need to know that, right, for school size. It'll impact the schools, but we don't have, for the most part, Stuart's kind of built out, so we don't have that. But if we did have something that came up, it would probably also be addressed in that quarterly meeting that we have with the other local governments. So I just wanted to point that out. Someone had that question at the last meeting. In addition, I wanted to talk a couple things about tonight on the agenda. So the 2 action items are what's called quasi-judicial. And so in essence, you guys are putting on your judicial caps and you're acting as a judge, a panel. And so the majority of this panel will make a decision. You're going to have facts given to you by the applicant and city staff. You're going to probably also be given some laws or ordinances that apply to this. And you guys are going to apply these facts in making your decision. So that's why we're going to put people under oath that are going to be testifying before you and providing evidence to you guys. If you have any questions at all, obviously on procedure or whatnot, I am here and I'm going to be helping assist with that. But you do have 2 items. Most of the time, you guys are acting in advisory capacity. So you're making a decision. An applicant is going to go before the city commission, but they're first going to come before you, and they're going to bring forth their application for you to make a decision, and your decision is a recommendation to the city commission. So in the city, we have another board called the Community Redevelopment Board, the CRB, that Mr. Scherer just mentioned that he was recently on and then switched to this board. So that board acts similar to this board, except it handles the land development applications that are contained in the community redevelopment area, which is a smaller area inside the city around the downtown area. Everything outside the CRA, you guys handle. So, and both of you guys give recommendations or advisory opinions to the city commission on the same agenda item. So in this instance tonight, you have 2 agenda items. They're both quasi-judicial, but the first one is a variance. This variance is unique because you are the final decision maker in the variance. So I wanted to make that distinction. So for the action item number 2, you're not making a recommendation. You guys are the final. It's it. It will not go on to the city commission. The second, or the third action item is also quasi-judicial, and in that you're making a recommendation to the city commission. So after you guys vote, it'll then be passed on probably at the next meeting or thereafter to the city commission. So I wanted to explain that to you. One last thing, Chair Peterson's going to go through a card that I gave her to make sure she complies with the law. And so one of the questions she's going to ask if you guys have had any ex parte communications. What that means is if you had communications with anybody outside of this meeting, we need to disclose who you had the communication with and kind of a summary of what the communication was to the applicant. It's just to comply with due process. So if you guys had had a conversation that was someone that was opposed to their application, they would have a right to know what that is so they could at least give their opinion or their side to it before you make your decision. Does that make sense? And also, it would include emails, text messages, not only verbal or phone calls. And it also includes, it makes no sense that it's an ex parte communication, but it also includes if you guys did a site like you visited the site where the applicant of the property, where it's located, and you were looked at it, the applicant gets the opportunity to ask you, well, does that make an impact on your decision? Why? Tell me about that. They just have an option to address it. It doesn't matter if you're allowed to have ex parte communications. You're allowed to go see the scenes. You just have to tell them so that they have a right to ask you questions about it.
So when you're saying site visit, are you talking like with a developer or just we drive by on our?
No, even if you drove by on your own, I mean, if you drive by it every day anyway and you're not, I'm saying if you get out of your car, probably more, and like you're looking at it, oh, I see what this is, you know. Yeah, with purpose, I would make a distinction there. Does that make sense? All right, so I just wanted to clarify that for you guys. Again, if you have any questions, I know some of you are brand new. If you have any questions, let me know, even in the meeting or outside the meeting.
I have a question. When
Sure.
do we disclose those things?
She's going to ask you at the beginning, she's going to go down her card, and she's going to ask you whether you had ex parte communications. And so I just wanted to explain that, so you're like,
Yeah.
not
thank
knowing.
you.
No.
Okay. I'm going to touch this one last time because it's making a lot of noise, but then I'll leave it there. Okay, so now we're going to go to action item number 2, final order of variance approval, 858 Southeast 14th Street, petition number 81. And Lee, are you going to read that or do you want me to read it?
I'm right here at the microphone, so let me do it.
I'm sorry?
I'm right here at the microphone, so I
Okay.
can do it for you. Normally, I'm sitting in the audience, so it's more difficult. Variance petition from Section 2.04.01 of the City of Stuart Land Development Code to allow the reconstruction of the porch with a roof within its original footprint.
Okay. Do the commissioners have, oh, not commissioners, do the board members have any ex parte communications to disclose?
No.
I drove by the site, and I also spoke with Commissioner Clark about this.
Okay, and I drove by the site as well to see if I could figure out what was happening. Okay. Are you going to place any potential witnesses under oath?
Yes, would city staff and any of the applicant under this application please stand and raise your right hand? Well, the testimony that you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Okay, you may be seated.
Okay. Does the Development Department have a summary?
Yes, we do, Chair. Good evening, members of the board. For the record, my name is Michelle Arbzow, Planner 2 in the Development Department. Tonight, I will be presenting agenda item number 2 for a variance request from the owner of the property who is seeking a variance from the Land Development Code, Section 2.04.01 of the city's Land Development Code, to allow for a roof over the entryway. The property is located at 858 Southeast 14th Street. Pursuant to the Land Development Code public notice requirements, on February 20th, 2026, the applicant mailed notices to all adjacent property owners within the 300 feet of the subject property to provide details of the requested development and the date and time of today's public meeting. Additionally, one sign, as you can see in the image on the screen, was posted on the property with the same information. The subject property outlined in red is located, mentioned before, 858 Southeast 14th Street. The structure is a single-family residence constructed in the 1930s. And this information we gathered from the property appraiser's website. The subject parcel is zoned single-family general, R1, with the adjacent properties around it with the same designation. The current future land use designation is low-density residential, and the adjacent properties around it is the same. The property owner is requesting a variance from Section 2.04.01, Table 5 of the city's Land Development Code to allow a reconstruction of a roofed structure over the entryway. And they would like to do that within its original footprint. Staff were unable to locate the original plans depicting the entryway roof. However, to provide a reasonable reference, right across the street, there is a comparable example of how that entryway, the roof over it, would look and appear. So according to our table in section 2.04.01 in the residential general zoning district, the setback, the front setback is 25 feet, which is circled in blue on that table. The petitioner is requesting a reduced setback of 17 feet, representing like an 8-foot deviation from the standard requirement. The applicant submitted with their application a picture of what the house looked like within the record before the roof structure was removed. The note on that stated that the top portion had termite damage. It was dangerous to keep, so they had to remove it. In regards to the standards of review, which is outlined in our section 8.05.02 in our land development code, the local planning agency may grant variances to the City of Stuart's land development code when strict enforcement would create unnecessarily hardship due to special circumstances. Any variance must still uphold the intent of the code, protect public safety and welfare, and ensure fairness. Such variances can only be approved if the LPA makes specific findings that justify the hardship. The limitations on granting a variance will not authorize any use of the property that is not allowed as a permitted use, or a use allowed by conditional use in the district in which the property is located. In this case, it's R1 general residential. The applicant explained in their request that adding a roof over the front door is necessary to protect the entryway, as the front entry currently lacks any weather protection. The variance, if granted, will not allow a density or intensity of use that exceeds the maximum density or intensity that is permitted in the district in which the property is located. By granting the requested variance, it will not allow density or intensity of use that is permitted in the district. The variance, if granted, will not result in a verifiable reduction of the property values of any adjacent or nearby properties. Granting the requested variance will not cause a potential reduction of the property values of any adjacent properties. The variance, if granted, will not cause a detrimental effect in the supply of light and air to adjacent properties. The effect in the supply of light and air on adjacent properties is not detrimental and does not apply to the requested variance. The variance, if granted, will not cause a detrimental effect concerning drainage of the subject property as well as adjacent properties. And by granting the requested variance, the applicant should be required to demonstrate all stormwater management requirements by the Land Development Code in section 6.03.00. And this would be done by their permitting process. The variance, if granted, will not cause an increase of traffic or on adjacent or nearby roads to levels that are not unusual for the types of uses in the neighborhood. Granting the requested variance will not impact or increase any traffic or on adjacent or nearby roads to levels that are not unusual for types of uses in the neighborhood. The variance, if granted, will not cause any threat to public safety in any manner whatsoever. Granting the requested variance will not cause any threat to public safety in any manner whatsoever. The variance, if granted, will not cause any threat to the health and general welfare of the inhabitants of the city. Granting the requested variance does not cause any threat to the health and general welfare of the inhabitants of the city. Staff supports and recommends approval of the petitioner's request for a variance to reconstruct the front entry within its original footprint. This ends staff report. Staff and the applicant's representatives are here to answer any questions the board may have. The owner of the property, they had full intention of attending tonight's hearing, but due to family issues, I don't want to sort of put it out there. they could not.
Anybody have any questions?
Based on the staff report, and it's on the original footprint, I'm comfortable supporting the variance.
Can I ask, Michelle, so I realize that you may not have analyzed this, but off the top of your head, how often do we grant exceptions to the front setback in the city?
We do receive requests for a reduction, with the board approval. It also depends, I mean, per the variance approval, it depends on the extent of the request. If the feel of like the neighborhood feel, and it was part of the original structure. You know, obviously it had damages to it, and they had to take it down because it was dangerous. In this instant, it was already there. That 25-foot setback, when it was originally built, I doubt that the land development code was in place then. So that would be the reason why they didn't meet it now.
And maybe just a couple more quick questions. So if I understood right, there were no records of the original setback or whatever. I guess I was a little bit confused on the history. How do we know what it was before it was torn down?
Well, with the permitting process, we didn't had one in place when these houses in the 1930s were built.
Yeah. No, I guess what I'm asking is
I
maybe.
think these current owners tore the roof off,
You can
correct?
see it, and
Yeah.
they have photos.
Correct.
They
look in their
had the roof,
paperwork.
it
Yeah, I
got
looked at that,
termites,
but it
they
was-
tore it down.
It was a bit confusing. Look, and
This is a image on the screen of what it originally on the house that the applicant had a picture of. The address actually says, I mean, you can't see it there, but it says 858. Across the street, I had an image here where, right here. Back. It was one before that. Yes, there's a house across the street that had the original roof entry on top of it. It's the same house that was built. You know, the
I see.
developers or whoever were developing the neighborhood back then, they built similar houses within the street or neighborhood.
I guess my only question is, they sent letters to the neighbors and nobody objected?
Correct.
Or do we have any record of any objections? No?
Correct. No objections.
Any other evidence or anything? Any other questions?
That's it for staff.
I'm going to just make a statement that might make it easy. The way the residential code's written, if they actually build a bigger porch and it was 50% or more of the width of the front facade, they could have a reduced setback to 15 feet. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Like if they build a bigger porch, they would allow to do it. It's just the fact that it's small, and I understand it's way more expensive if they build a big one. So this was expensive too, to have to go through this process. So it's unfortunate they had to go through this process, but a porch is allowed if it's 50% or more, and then to a 15-foot setback.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good use of like an LPA board, right? Like we're trying to make sure that the code doesn't create hardship for people who are totally in line with the character of the city. So
Especially since they're not adding, it was originally there.
Yeah.
They're replacing.
It's more like you're restoring it back to what it was.
I lived in a house on 14th Street for over 25 years that was older than this house, and did extensive remodel work. And the challenges were that prior to 1928, this was Dade County. And then it was Palm Beach County up until the mid-30s. So to find the original records of what was there, you have to do the diligence in another county, and that's really, really difficult. And then trying to get some of these older houses to comply with the newer codes when they want to do things is really difficult. But I'm in favor of, I'm glad to see people taking an interest in some of those properties there, and some of those houses are really, really nicely, a nice reflection of how the town was and how it was laid out. And I think it's a good thing to, anytime there's an opportunity to put it back how it was and somebody's taken an interest.
I'm just curious, like, if we did deny this variance, what's the next process for these folks?
We won't be approving any building permits.
So it's not like they could appeal or like,
There is an appeal process.
okay, yeah.
Do we have any members of the public that wanted to make a
Chair, I
comment?
have none.
Okay. And no other closing comments? Because it says the party shall be provided with equal time to present the board with closing remarks.
Chair Peterson, we need to allow the applicant to speak if,
I thought the applicant
I
wasn't
thought the
here.
representatives were here.
They are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought she said that they weren't here, so I wasn't.
The property owners couldn't make
okay,
it, but
okay.
their representatives are here.
Yes, then, please.
It's okay, we have nothing to say.
Good answer.
Yes, you're free to ask questions.
So just as a point of information, you've already redone the roof on this house?
Yeah. Can you step to the podium, please, and state your names for the record?
James and Meredith Santaramo.
So, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but just as a point of information, going forward, to do something like this, you've done the diligence with a contractor on how to, because the struggle that happens with those older properties is even, okay, go ahead and do this. Well, now you've got to meet code on a roof that's not trussed like a newer house. And so you're aware of that. You've done all that diligence to, okay.
Michael Roberts, he's the owner of the property. He's actually a contractor. We just bought the company from him. So
Got
we're
it.
also very involved in this. So
Okay.
he's got 2 builders waiting to go.
To her point, I don't want you to, okay, great, this is approved, and now you have a whole other hurdle. Okay,
We've done our due diligence.
good for you.
We even have the plans already.
Yeah.
So,
Anybody else have any questions for the? Good. Okay. Okay, so does anybody have a motion?
Motion to approve the variance?
I'll second.
And do we do all, do they need a roll call?
Roll call, yes.
Roll call.
Yeah, well, let's see if there's any public comment.
Oh, public comment.
I have none.
Okay.
Chair, could you just verify who seconded it, because they both spoke at the same time?
You can have it.
Mr. Grasso?
Second.
Just wanted to make sure. Board Member Seymour?
Here.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Vice Chair Olet?
Yes.
Chair Peterson?
Yes.
Board Member Scherer?
Yes.
Board Member Grasso?
Yes.
Board Member Palmieri?
Yes.
And Board Member Vogel?
Yes.
Motion passes.
thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, folks.
He'll be so happy.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so now we're on to action item 3, Walmart exterior rebrand, major commercial planned unit development amendment, quasi judicial. Lee, can you read that?
Yes. Ordinance number 2551-2026, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, approving a major amendment to the Walmart Commercial Planned Unit Development, also known as CPUD, providing for an amendment to the adopted resolution number 28-2011 to authorize modifications to the approved unified signage plan, install a new canopy, and paint the exterior of the building, providing for conditions of approval, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and for other purposes.
Do the board members have any ex parte communications to disclose?
I have none.
I also drove by, and I also spoke to Commissioner Clark about this item.
Okay. And I guess now the development department has a brief summary?
Yes. Hello again, and members, chair and members of the board.
Wait a minute. I think I need to swear everybody.
Oh, swearing in.
I need to swear in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, anybody testifying on behalf of the applicant, please raise your right hand and stand. Do you affirm that the evidence that you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, you may be seated.
For the record, my name is Michelle Arbizau, Planner 2 in the Development Department. I am presenting agenda item number 3, a request from Walmart Stores East LP seeking to amend the CPUD ordinance number 1915-03 and the previously approved resolution number 28-2011, development condition number 4, to allow modifications to the approved unified signage plan. On February 20th, 2026, notification letters were mailed out to property owners located within 300 feet of the proposed site. 2 public notification signs detailing the local planning agency public hearing was posted on the premise. The subject property outlined in red total approximately 33.7 acres. The site is located at 4001 Southeast Federal Highway and is situated on the northeast corner of Southeast Federal Highway and Southeast Marketplace. One signage was posted off of Southeast Federal Highway, the other was off of Southeast Marketplace. The subject parcel is zoned commercial plan unit development. Most of the surrounding properties have the same zoning designation, except for the residential PUD to the north and the industrial PUD to the southeast. The current future land use designation is commercial, and almost, again, all the surrounding properties are designated with the same commercial future land use, except for the multifamily residential to the north and the industrial designation to the southeast. The applicant is seeking approval from the LPA and the Stuart City Commission to amend the commercial plan unit development for the removal of 607.58 square feet of existing wall-mounted sign, 18 total. They're installing 608.90 square feet of new wall-mounted signage, 28 individual signs. And the amount of the new signage is due to their online pickup and delivery expansion approved in 2025. Phase changes to the 4 existing monument sign, installation of new pickup banner sign on an existing light pole in the parking lot, and construction of a new canopy on the previously approved expansion, and the repainting of the exterior building. The proposed amendment reflected on the table shows the existing 607.58 square feet of wall-mounted sign totaling 18 to be removed, and proposal of the 608.90 square feet of wall-mounted signs, which totals 28 to be installed. Upon approval, the applicant will be required to comply with all applicable conditions and requirements outlined in the PUD agreement and the Florida Building Code. The total number on the existing signage schedule, total 587.58, not what is shown as the 607.58. This was brought to the applicant's attention. The applicant is here. They will be able to answer any questions regarding those numbers. The signs are 2 auto care signs, 8 numerals, pickup, 4 oil change signs, outdoor addresses, 4 tire sign, wine and spirits, 2 Walmart signs to include the 2 Sparks, 1 on the side and the other on the front of the building. And then there's the grocery, home, and fashion, which equals 28 signs total. The applicant is requesting phase changes to the 4 existing monument sign on site for their rebranding of the store. They are not changing the size to any of the monument signs that are on site. However, they are proposing a new 2x5 pickup banner to be installed on an existing light pole within the parking lot. The background of the sign on the screen, it's the Walmart blue, True Blue, I believe it's called, on the site plan with the white lettering pickup. The applicant is requesting approval for the installation of a 7 by 20 feet canopy at the entrance of the store's online pickup and delivery operation, which was previously approved. It's 140 square feet of canopy if you need that information. Administrative variance AV-25-4, which was an approval for an approximately 5,000 square foot building to expand the store online pickup and delivery operation. This was granted in September 2025. The applicant is requesting to repaint the store utilizing the colors on the legend. The colors you see is, the main color there is called dark gray, true blue, and safety yellow according to the color legend. Per our land development code, section 6.05.07.c of the city, exterior colors for a commercial building shall be restricted to muted pastel or earth tone shades. This section goes on to state that the use of black or fluorescent colors are prohibited as a predominant exterior building color. The applicant is requesting to repaint the store utilizing the colors on the legend. The colors I just wanted, I guess this is just to show kind of like the facade of what that building would look like with the new paint colors. I can zoom in if you'd like. The existing paint palette are reflected in the image on screen is what we see if we drive by now. Overall, staff supports updates and phase changes to the already approved signage and structure, and all of it are required to follow the Florida Building Code, but staff do not support the increasing of the size of previously approved signage, adding new signs that are not permitted by code, and then repainting the building in a color that violates the city LDC color requirements. This ends staff's presentation. The applicant is in attendance to answer any questions the board may have.
I have a question. So previously, the store had 18 signs, and now you guys are going to do 28?
Sounds like a lie, right? So I'm Brittany Lewis. I work with HFA. We're the architecture firm. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Christine Brooks. I am the applicant for this, and yes, it does sound like a massive increase.
It is one new sign
Is
on the
that
front.
better?
It's one new sign on the front. It's the Auto Center or Auto Care with the arrow. If I'm being completely honest, you probably won't see the sign because it sits below where the
Could you
outdoor
speak
sign-
closer to the microphone?
Yeah, you probably won't see the sign if I'm being completely honest. It's Auto Care with the arrow. It's on the front over by the garden center side of the store, which is not in that photo. It's lower than the outdoor sign, and we drove past the store today, and in the parking lot, the garden center canopy is probably going to block most of the view of that sign.
Can you, Michelle, can you zoom in and show us where that would be? Are the signs on there or no?
I would actually be curious if you could maybe tell us exactly where the 10 new signs would go.
So that is the one new on the front. On the auto center itself, above each of the bay doors, right now it says tire, 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 and lube, lube, lube 4 times on each side because that's the sides. It's going to say tire still. It's going to say oil care or oil change. But there's actually a circle with an individual number 1 through 8. So instead of saying go to the oil bay and they go, well, which one? You say go to bay 2. And it just helps direct traffic so there's less congestion and confusion.
Okay, so some of the signs are not necessarily Walmart signs, they're signs
They're
designated with the
directional.
bays.
They're directional. So the one new one on the front is the Auto Care with the arrow, so they know which side of the store to drive to for the auto center, assuming they don't come in on the federal highway side where it is. And then the other signs are specifically above the bay doors to indicate the number of the bay.
And how many of those are there? 9?
There are 8.
Okay, so that's 9 new signs.
8 on the auto center and 1 on the front.
Right, that's 9, and you're asking for 10 more? Am I miscounting?
So
It's all
there
together.
is a beer, wine, and spirits sign on the liquor box addition over to the very far right side of the store. For some reason, it was not in our as-built plans and it wasn't part of the last variance. So we're requesting to change it to a smaller sign. It's just going to say wine and spirits. It was 29.29 square feet and now it's 27.39 square feet.
I have a question. So it looks like you're trying to increase the signage limit from 607.58 feet to 608.90 square feet. My concern is that exceeding the previously approved signage will create a precedent. Can you not shrink the signs so that they fit within the existing signage limit of 607.58 square feet?
We actually have more signage than that on the store currently because of that beer, wine, and spirit sign that for some reason was never accounted for. We have an extra 29.29 square feet currently on the store than what we're showing in our schedule. But we didn't want to show that because it wasn't approved. Unless it has a different address. It's got a different address than the main part of the store. I believe it has a totally separate entrance, but it is part of the front facade.
I just think like the code exists to keep, the local control over design and aesthetic and the feel of the community. And I just wonder if you have something to offer, like why is it that you can't operate within the color scheme, within the code of size of, if there was something where you said, look, if we're going to do this, we got to do it this size and it doesn't fit into your rules. I get it, but just branding or
there
like.
There is a prototypical brand that Walmart wants their entire
Right.
fleet to be recognizable and consistent. So that is the goal.
Yeah.
Had we included that beer, wine, and spirit sign that does exist, but it wasn't in the variance, so we weren't going to include it. We would have been under square footage, over a number of signs, but they are directional signs in my head.
So this may be a question for staff. So it was a variance last time to get this 600 and whatever square feet, and now we're asking for another variance to go a little bit above that. What would have been allowed without a variance? Like what is standard for a building of this size?
So the last amendment to the PUD granted the 607.58 square feet, that original amount.
So is it because this is a PUD, there is no sign standard? The PUD
That's what I
is
was
the sign
wondering.
standard?
Correct. So
Okay.
the PUD, it's contract zoning. It's not following the straight zoning requirements. And so what was granted was the 607.58. With their rebrand, it's bringing that up to 608.90, which changes that PUD that was approved by the commission. So it's got to go
So if
through
it
that
was a
protocol.
straight commercial zoning, I guess, what would the signage requirements be? Just so that we'd have a
base? Yes, sure. I can bring that up in our.
I'm sorry, is that?
While you're looking up that, I'll just address some of the newer members. So the last agenda item, you saw R1, that's our straight zoning. And straight zoning has, everything is the same in that zoning. But when you see a PUD, and we have CPUD, which is this, commercial, we have RPUD, is residential, we have IPUD, which is industrial, you'll see other PUDs. It's like a custom zoning designation for that property. So they select to do a custom, and being a custom, they don't necessarily have to follow the straight zoning. They can come up with their own. But there's also some requirements. I think in a PUD, they're supposed to have 25% of the land is supposed to be uplands and open space, basically. So there's certain requirements that they have to meet, but then they can also deviate from what the standard code would allow. You find it yet?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, according to our straight zoning, if you're in the business, B1, B2, B4, if you're in industrial or the urban district, a wall sign won't be, it will be only not more than 2 per occupant. I mean, so Walmart would have 2 wall sign, 1.5 square feet for the first 25 linear feet of occupancy. So they're looking at the face of the building, and then it won't go over 100 square feet, basically. I'll read the per word in our code. 1.5 square feet for the first 25 linear feet occupancy, then 1 square feet per linear foot over 25 linear feet occupancy, not to exceed 100 square feet per occupancy.
So if this was not in a CPUD, which obviously it is, but if it was straight commercial zoning, this is 6 times what they would have been allowed? They were allowed with the variance at the
front-
last CPUD?
Correct, only 2 wall signs would be approved, correct.
Unless you count each of Walmart's sections and occupancy.
Yeah, that's if they're specific, no, it wouldn't be just Walmart, it'll be a specific different tenant, then they would be required a separate
I
front.
think it's kind of important to understand, so just to clarify, out of the 10 extra signs, not all of them are store branding. How many of them are store branding and how
Just-
many of them are just directional?
It depends, do you consider the auto care with an arrow pointing to the left a store
No,
brand?
I would say that would probably be directional.
Because
It's not
that's
their
the one on the front that's new, because the wine and spirits was beer, wine, spirits
So
before, it
it's
just
only
wasn't counted.
one extra
One new
Walmart
on the
sign. The rest of
front.
them are pretty much directional, telling you what bay's wire.
Correct. And the one on the front that's added, you probably won't see because the garden center canopy is in the way. The shade cloth, we
Okay, I
couldn't see.
guess that begs the question, if nobody's going to see it, why are we getting a variance to add it?
In case they can see it, from the very back of the parking lot, you can, from the the last row, we could see where it was gonna go. But if you're on the row closest to the store, you're not gonna see it. Chances are, most people come in off Federal Highway, and the auto center is on that side of the store.
Am I correct in assuming that the number of signs don't matter? We're looking at the square footage variance?
Right, I'm sorry, what was the question here?
So basically, we're looking at, they're requesting a variance of a little over, basically, from 607.58 to 608.90 square feet. Am I correct in assuming that that's what they're asking for? It doesn't matter how many signs they have? It's just the square footage we're talking about? Is that correct?
It is both, it is the amount of
both.
sign and the square footage.
I'm sorry, it's the what sign and the square footage?
If you approve the CPUD amendment, that becomes the new rule for
Okay.
the zone.
Correct.
Thank you.
Did any of the individual like branding signs increase in size? in the last
Actually,
other-
our Walmarts and Sparks are slightly smaller.
The Walmart on the left, when you pull in from Federal Highway, is 67.34 square foot smaller.
It was a 4'6" sign, and now it's 4 foot. So
The
it's slightly
Walmart
smaller.
and Spark on the front of the building is now 32.53 square foot smaller.
But that's only because of the font change. The size, height of the sign didn't change.
That's correct, the 2 large Walmart signs are smaller than what was approved.
It's just because they slightly changed the font. Nobody would know unless you actually saw it on the plans.
And tell me a little bit about the pole sign, like why is this not an approved sign in the city? Is it something we just haven't allowed before? Or,
Correct, it's not part of our land development code. It's not, staff's not authorized to grant that permission or authorized to grant that approval.
Is there another way to do that sign so
That
that it
one's-
does fit our codes?
That one's more of it's kind of like a banner. It's like a vinyl material that's held between 2 poles, and it's about 16 feet off the ground. It's strictly to kind of direct which aisle has the actual parking spaces for the pickup orders.
If it's vinyl, is there a plan to replace it,
If it gets damaged,
but on a because it's going to get faded and damaged in Florida in the sun?
they should. It should be a nicer material that will withstand, because we do Florida projects in California and we do all the states, but it should be replaced if damaged by the store manager.
Going back in the staff's presentation, approximately how much of this PUD is still unbuilt?
It's completed,
It's completed.
correct.
Okay, so it doesn't include all that land on the side, or that's preserve?
Those are probably their open space requirement and
Okay, so essentially,
That's the benefit with the PUD, they have to have a larger
That's-
amount of open
that's
space.
preserve.
And that's
So-
also, I know a little bit about this because since I've been here, I've had to look at it, but I think they required years ago when they required it, you remember, there's like a buffer on US 1, you can't see I doubt Walmart wanted that, but we required it for the PUD that they put landscape buffer up.
right,
And
on
I
the
think,
east side, there's a lot of vacant land, but I imagine that's preserve part of it. So essentially, if any changes are made to this PUD, it's only going to affect Walmart. That's the basis of my question. Nothing in the future is going to change because of this.
If we change it from this, it would be another PUD amendment.
It would have to come before the boards for approval if they are in changing.
But I mean, Walmart is the only thing that's ever going to be there at this point.
Correct. According to the
Okay.
PUD, this is a
We're
complete.
not going to build something else that
But I
be
feel that
subject to
sets a
this rule.
precedent for other PUDs.
I don't disagree. I'm just wondering, I just wanted to make sure, to your point, that there's nothing else that can be built there that's going to be subject to this change if it was made.
But elsewhere, perhaps it could be.
Yeah, if Walmart left there and something else came in there, they would have to do an amendment as well. Walmart used to be off Indian Street in the old location, and now it's a gym. So they had to do a change of use and probably have to change the PUD there as well. And I think Walmart was built. I think there was nothing there where it currently is located.
Can I ask a question about the colors? So currently, it looks like it's light gray with white, kind of more Florida-looking awnings or Bahama shutters or whatever off the top. What will that, is it just going to be straight dark
The
with just the
material is
blue?
not changing, just the paint color. So everywhere that you see the light gray would be a darker gray.
And those white Bahama shutters are going to be gray as well? And the trim is going to be gray? So it's just going to be,
And
no trim distinction
no
really,
distinction
just
on the trim.
straight dark gray with the royal
With the
blue or
where they-
whatever
where
that
they
blue is.
indicated on the plans, yeah.
Why is the staff saying that it appears inconsistent with the land development code requirement for the muted pastel or earth tone colors now?
We are not, no, it's not with our code. It's going against it because it's not muted pastel color.
So basically, they're asking for something that's inconsistent with the code, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I just don't, I think you could come back forever and ever and make Walmart more lit up with more signs and have it be more efficient of getting people in, out, in, out, and out. And I don't think that's what we're trying to do. Like, that's not why I feel called to be on this board. Like, I don't see any reason to make this adjustment. I just think, Walmart's a big corporation. They can work within the confines of what the city wants for their community.
Oh, can I ask a question about the PUD? If we were to reduce some of the signage square footage to keep
Can
it
you
under-
go a little?
Yeah, lean in.
If we were to reduce some of the square footage, I mean, based on the PUD we have, we can't change the signs at all without a new PUD amendment, correct? If we alter any of the signs, we need to amend it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're adding number and you're increasing.
Well, even if I was
Square
to
footage.
reduce to stay under the existing PUD, if I change the sign at all, I still have to amend the PUD.
Correct.
So even if they stayed 18 signs instead of the 28 and they stayed within the square footage, but just updated the signs?
Then there won't be any, it's like a face change, but it still comes before, it's a PUD. Staff doesn't have the authority to grant that request.
But it's more likely to be approved or recommended for approval because
Once it's
they're
following our
staying
code,
within
yes.
the guidelines. The staff would be more likely to recommend approval.
Correct, based on our code.
I definitely don't think changing the colors, I don't
guess-
think we should allow the colors.
I personally agree with the staff's recommendations.
That gray, that's that dark gray that is on some of the parts of the store now, right? It's not the whole store, but I think like some of the poles, it's that dark gray?
I know Walmart does have a lighter gray. I don't think it's quite that light, but it is a lighter gray that is prototypical that we can default to. I don't know if we could get that approved as a requirement of this PUD amendment, if you were to agree with everything with a lighter gray. with
Do you have a
staff
sample of that lighder gray?
On me, no, I do not.
I do think that dark gray
But it
is
is
going to look to
3
to
shades
paint that
lighter
whole
than the one
building,
we're
that
proposing.
super dark gray.
It's going to look like a Navy ship.
I also just think about the heat. You've got a dark building on dark blacktop on, like, what is this doing to our, we talk about like our ecosystem of our cities with trees and cooling and all that kind of stuff. And just to do these really dark colors and on top of blacktop and top of
I think
US 1.
part of it too was for their branding identification so that the white signs just popped more. But I understand your concern in Florida.
Yeah. I think it blends the architecture as well, because that is a somewhat, the thing that always gets me is when petitioners come and they have a building that looks like it could be in Spokane, Washington, Massachusetts, or Florida. This actually has the coastal Bahamas shutters and has some architecture to it that fits Stuart, and if we paint it all black, all that architecture disappears, and I don't know. I don't think that's for
It
me.
looks black on the plans. I swear it is not that dark.
Well,
It's just because
charcoal gray.
the line work is on it.
Dark gray.
Yeah, okay.
I think if you zoom in, you can see some of the, isn't there some of the gray on the front of the building now? I think the poles or something are that dark gray.
I don't think so. I think the medium gray is on this building in some parts.
Yeah.
I don't see the dark gray. It's a shade dark. Like I see a light gray and a medium gray. The dark gray is a shade darker.
Yeah, you're right. There's no. That whole store, all dark gray, is going to look extremely different than everything else.
Is it possible to have the board, if you were to approve anything else, with the caveat that we do the lightest gray that Walmart has, assuming that staff sees it and shows it to the board?
But I don't know how we can make a recommendation for a color we can't see.
I know.
It just says that it should be muted pastel or earth tone colors, which that is not. I mean, that's the bottom line.
I know.
It's going to go against what,
And it kills me because I know the gray is a muted gray. I just don't have it on hand.
Does any gray?
is it a
count
muted
towards
pastel,
the-
though?
It is. It's a
Yeah, would
pastel gray.
a
I don't
muted
think it's a
gray be
muted,
okay?
it can't be a pastel.
It looks very similar to the middle color that's on the
Okay.
pole that's, you see the Walmart
I
sign.
mean, the intent of the code is to show off the architecture, muted, lighter pastel colors. You know, it's a Florida theme, right? It's Stuart's theme. So I believe you're right. We would need to see it.
Yeah. And I think also having the trim different than the rest of the building would be important too for the architecture and for the overall look of the building. To paint it all one color, it's just going to look like a big dark box. Do you have any other comments? Anybody have any other questions?
Well, I guess the staff recommended the canopy, but no to the pickup banner.
Oh, yeah, so we didn't, so the canopy's going to be over by where they come out to bring groceries to, so is it for staff, like a?
Yeah, it's staff entrance and exit only.
Okay.
The staff seems to be okay with that. But the pickup banner,
Could you speak into the microphone,
not
Vice
so
Chair?
much.
Speak into the microphone.
I was just commenting that the staff seems to be okay with the canopy, but not the pickup banner. That's.
Anything further?
I have one question. Would you guys be willing, if you are okay with what is on the building for the proposed signage, to allow the signage and we can come back for the paint at a later time? Construction start for this entire project is March 12th, I believe.
That's today.
Minus, obviously, the signage and the paint, but they're starting the interior. And if we could get at least the signage and come back for the paint
Honestly,
later.
if you're willing to wait a minute, I will pull up the other color on the computer and show you the other color.
But how does that, I guess we're making a recommendation, so we could recommend that they change the other color. It's okay that it's not on there, what they're submitting?
We can most certainly add conditions before they go to the next level, which is the
You want
commission.
to look it up? Is that okay for her to look it up?
And
Oh,
and I'm
yes.
not so sure we're all,
I'm not.
like, willing to approve the signs either at this time.
So do we handle each of these items? Because there are 6 items before us. Do we do them one at a time and make recommendations? Is it one overall recommendation? How do you want us to handle it as a board?
It's up to the board at this point.
Say one.
You can do it one at a time, each individual, or
Okay.
I would suggest discussing that amongst yourselves and how you want to proceed with it.
So we could make a motion, like, for example, I'm not making a motion, can I make a sample motion that,
Your motion would be recommending
recommend to the city commission?
ABC,
Okay. recommend no amendment that changes the color scheme, like each individual item would be a
Break it
motion. Okay.
Okay. Well, let me make sure. So do we have any, are we waiting still for the petitioner, or do we want to go to public comments? I don't believe we have any public comments, but I don't know if I still need to go through my little yellow sheet.
I have one quick question.
Okay.
Can you please refresh me, how old is the existing CPUD?
The original,
2011?
2003.
Okay.
This board is limited to what the evidence was before you. The applicants, obviously, just to let you know, you have 2 more hearings before the city commission, so you're not stuck with what you're saying today. You can amend and change things as we go through the process. The second reading.
What would be approved, so I'm trying to pull the color up so we can see if that would be acceptable.
Michelle, can you confirm, is there any shade of gray that technically is approved under the current?
A lighter gray. A lighter gray.
Does count, okay.
I do recall the Coffee Rush, little coffee place that came before you guys a while ago, and I think the eventual, and it's right around the corner from here, really, and I think the commission asked for a lighter color on that. It was a dark gray, and they thought it didn't fit, so if you guys remember that coming before you.
Okay. I'm wondering where, are we proceeding, or are we waiting on a color? Okay. Do we want to, okay, so we don't have any members making, no members of the public. Any board members have any other comments?
I feel like I don't want to approve, I want to recommend that we don't approve the modification to the signage plan. You know?
Okay.
I just don't. Like, I don't see a reason to do it.
It's specifically to
signage,
direct traffic.
the signage, if you think about it, it's not, and I'm not trying to convince anybody, it's just my opinion. I don't think it's that much of a change, because although the square footage is going up, a lot of it is directional signing. So their branding is actually going down.
Yeah.
Most of it is Bay 1, Bay 2. That still counts to the square footage. So that's why it's going up. I think the color is definitely an issue.
I think the signage, though, I kind of think that there's ways to do the signage. You put a cone that says number 1 on it in front of the bay, and number 2, and it's not a sign, and it's temporary, and it's not amending the CPUD, and it will comply with the what's already been done without us making more exceptions. So I think that there's ways to, I mean, this sign that's pointing to around the way to the bay, they're saying nobody's going to even see it, and then in front of the bays, like, put a traffic cone in front of each bay, and when you say, okay, go to number 1, you remove the cone, they go in. Like, I think there's ways to do that. I mean, I obviously do not own Walmart or run automotive shops, but there seems to me that there'd be a way to do it that would not require a variance to the CPUD plan and increase the number of signs.
To me, it just feels like they could then start, I mean, this isn't obviously what they're asking for, but like, they could say like, oh, every part of the parking lot's going to be a part of our flyer as you drive up. And, you know, like, we could go all the way with the signs in a Walmart, but the fewer signs makes the building feel a little more quaint, I think, even though it's a Walmart, so.
If it means anything, the numbers over those doors are 1.56 square foot. The numbers are small. And they're just
They're
up in the
slightly,
top
the
corner.
circle is slightly larger than the font itself.
Yeah.
It almost becomes part of the sign. It's just a different color.
Yeah,
Is
the actual Walmart signs are shrinking.
Yeah,
The
correct.
Walmart signs are shrinking.
If we had that beer, wine, and spirit sign calculated, which for some reason was not, we would actually be reducing the overall square footage on the building.
Did you say you would be reducing the square footage?
Our overall reduction.
Well, then why do you need us to approve the?
Because for some reason, we can't find a variance or a PUD amendment for the sign that is over the beer section of the store. So we're trying to incorporate that now to make it legal.
But we're also changing the number, so it still need to come
Because
before.
the number of signs
Yeah.
is changing. Yeah, because the signs are changing at all in a PUD, we have to amend the PUD to make it, this is now the standard.
Could I just ask, I'm just looking at I'm thinking about the square footage of the signs versus the quantity of signs, and I have, I guess, a question for you and then maybe a question for my colleagues here. Do we have more heartburn over the increase in square footage, or is it the number of signs? Before anybody says anything, we're talking about a foot or a foot and a half, right? So is there no way for you to get the square footage that you want? I mean, can you not find a foot somewhere?
Like I said, we actually have over 20 feet extra if that other sign had been calculated. The sign exists.
I got you, but it's not here, right? So it's not there.
Right.
So I guess I'm having some trouble over why you, I mean, can you not fit it in within the existing square footage?
We could, I mean, we could get down below the 6.7 or 607.58, but realistically, what is existing on the building is 636.87. But the beer, wine,
Yeah, got it.
liquor isn't in the current PUD.
It's the non-existing invisible sign.
It's most likely on the address.
Yeah,
for
because I believe it's
that part of the store.
4159. It's a totally separate address because it has a totally separate entrance, but it is part of the front facade. So we're counting it towards front facade signage on this current PUD amendment.
But to answer your question, we could probably, in one of these signs, get rid of the 2 square foot so that we're under what the PUD allows.
But we would still be
We're still
over
over
number
on
of
the
signs.
number.
Because of the additional signs that you want, right? I mean, that's what you wanted to
And
do.
it's for the auto center.
Yeah.
I believe now when they make reservations and stuff, it'll tell them which bay to pull up to.
Got it. And so then that brings me to I guess it was the first question I asked. How does the board feel about that, these 10 additional signs? If it is within the square footage and the purpose as identified is more about directional, how do we feel about that? We have concerns about the 10 additional signs?
I do not.
On paper, it looks bad, like compared to other projects that have came before us, where they're trying to add signs that's just in your face. So that's kind of, I think, where some of the hesitation comes from. Looks bad on paper, but when you see what the signs are, it makes sense, and it doesn't seem like it's really impacting anything. Yeah, the signs that you do see that are impacting are actually getting smaller. So my opinion is it doesn't bother me.
Okay, so are we ready to make a motion? And does are everybody's questions and comments?
Is did I hear right that the petitioner has agreed to change the square footage to fit within the whatever existing square foot there is?
We can propose it to Walmart for sure.
And
if
we could
that's a
make that
condition.
proposal as
Okay.
well. And in our recommendation, in our motion.
I feel like we need to put that onus on Walmart.
Well, we still need to make a recommendation.
Can
though,
I
to the-
show you the lightest gray color that they offer? On my phone, so please don't steal my phone. It's Benjamin Moore Nimbus 1465 is what Walmart calls light gray. That is the lightest gray that their prototype.
Oh, it went away.
Disappeared.
It went away.
Disappeared.
You're going to get a coupon, though. Okay. So that would be I guess my heartburn over the color, that's much better. It's not going to be a dark box, but also trim color. I think we need to maintain the Bahama shutters and some trim color for some differentiation and not have it all just,
I agree
one
with that.
flat color. Okay, so I can't make a motion, but does somebody want to make a motion? And do we want to put it all in one large, or do we want to break them up?
Seems like we should break them up.
I could motion to recommend that we allow the modification that puts the canopy for the entrance.
I can second that based on the staff's recommendation. The canopy.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. Anybody have any comments on that to deliberate? Okay, so then a vote on that
If
motion?
you're going to separate them, then we can vote on this motion and then continue after. Yeah.
Okay.
Board Member Grosso?
Yes.
Board Member Palmieri?
Yes.
Vice Chair Olet?
Yes.
Chair Peterson?
Yes.
Board Member Vogel?
Yes.
Board Member Scherer?
Yes.
And Board Member Seemoff.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Do we have anybody else to make another motion on some of our items?
Well,
And to make it easy for you, the items are up on the screen.
There you go. So we've done the canopy. We need the size of the signs. Oh, face changes to the
I
board.
say we recommend against the pickup banner.
Second.
Could you
So
repeat that?
can you state as a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to recommend against the pickup banner.
Any seconds?
Second.
Do we do a roll call?
I'm confused. You're motioning for what again?
There's the banner on the like the flag banner on the pole that's
Okay.
not allowed by city code.
Okay.
So the motion is to not have the pickup sign.
Yeah. Oh, and do we have any discussion?
Pickup banner, sorry, okay.
Any discussion on that motion?
I'm okay with the pickup sign.
So we'll do a roll call and then you can vote depending on how you feel.
So just to be clear, right now, we're voting against the, I made the motion against the banner.
Got it. Okay.
Board Member Scherer?
Yes.
Board Member Vogel?
Yes.
Board Member Palmieri?
Yes.
Board Member Seelmoff?
No.
Board Member Grosso?
Yes.
Chair Peterson?
Yes.
And Vice Chair Olet?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1.
Okay, so we still need motion.
I'll make a motion to not approve the color scheme change to the dark gray and recommend the color scheme be revised to be a lighter shade that meets the Stuart code requirements, as well as have a differentiation, different shade of the trim and shutter awnings.
Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
I'll just repeat it so we
Okay.
have it right for the record. So we're not approving the dark gray. We would like a lighter shade that fits within our city code and a different trim, different colored trim. Yep. Chair Peterson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Olet?
Yes.
Board Member Vogel?
Yes.
Board Member Scherer?
Yes.
Board Member Grosso?
Yes.
Board Member Seelmoff?
Yes.
And Board Member Palmieri?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Do we have any other motions?
I would move that, I guess on the signage, it's sort of two different bullet points there, but I would recommend that the applicant install 600, or remain, they can change the signs, but fit within the existing 607.58 square feet of signage space.
Are you restricting our number of signs at all, or just the square footage?
I'm not opposed to the additional signs. So my motion would, if they need 28 signs to do it, so be it.
Any seconds? And this could just be for discussion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Can you repeat the motion one more time?
I have, would you like to repeat it? No.
Let's
I
have
just
you
that
repeat it.
it's, change the signage to fit the current square footage. The number of signs itself doesn't matter.
Got it.
I wouldn't open-ended it. I would say they could, up to the, as they have it, the
Up to
plan
28.
28, yeah.
Up to 28. Any
Would you like me to
discussion on the number of signs or reducing the square footage? Okay, we had a second?
Yes.
So now we can do a roll call.
Board Member Grosso?
Yes.
Board Member Seelmoff?
Yes.
Vice Chair Olet?
Yes.
Chair Peterson?
Yes.
Board Member Scherer?
Yes.
Board Member Palmieri?
Yes.
And Board Member Vogel?
Yes.
Motion passes.
I don't know that we discussed the face changes to the existing monument signs. What's happening to the existing monument
They say
signs?
Walmart Spark, now they're just going to say Walmart.
Oh. And I guess they'll be painted to reflect the color of the building? Okay.
which should be very similar to what it has now.
Okay.
So the Walmart, the font's increasing in size, I assume, by getting rid of the spark?
So, hold on, let me find my piece of paper that shows me that.
According to the narrative of the application, the signage is not being increased.
The signage is, I think they meant like, we're not changing the monument size at all. As far as the actual font, we might be. Let me look. It's still going to fit within the confines of the column. It does look like it's a slightly different size, only because our font changed ever so slightly. Does anybody else want to see the two tiny monuments by choice?
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to recommend allowing the monument sign changes.
Second?
Any discussion?
Who seconded that? Mr. Sorry, I'm learning your voices. And that motion was to allow the monument signs, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Changes.
Chair Peterson?
Yes.
Board Member Seelmoff?
Yes.
Vice Chair Olet?
Yes.
Board Member Grosso?
Yes.
Board Member Vogel?
Yes.
Board Member Scherer?
Yes.
And Board Member Palmieri?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Did we catch everything?
Can I ask you a quick question, Michelle? So these changes that are proposed from this board,
Can we hear you in the microphone, please?
sorry, I was asking Michelle, if these changes that you guys have proposed in this board, we need to address those and have those to you before the next meeting?
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Any staff updates? I guess we did that already.
Yeah, I'm unaware of any.
Okay. Then are we ready to adjourn the meeting?
Yes?
Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.